Hello again, whiskey friends. I'm Durell, the Whiskey Saint. We're back for another video, guys. Going to be diving into some more blind pours. Got to practice coming up on Dusty Dan's live stream on Monday, next Monday. You know, a 2-on-2 partner blind battle. So got to get some practice in before that comes up. So what better way to do it? Dive into some pours blind or a pour blind and see how I do. So stay tuned if you're new to the channel. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're about to kick the show off. Cheers. Welcome back, guys. So with no further ado, we're just gonna pour one of these up and see how close I can get, man. I'll try to guess what type. So whiskey, bourbon, American, Scotch, all that good stuff. Hopefully the sample is labeled enough once I flash it to the camera that it has proof and you know exactly what it is. So let's dive into my box over here. And let's find one that doesn't feel like I drink out of it. This one feels full. And let's see. All right, so labels on the front right there, guys. I'm not going to peek. You know, I'm not one to cheat, so hopefully that pulls up and you can see it. I'll pour this up. Color looks pretty nice. It's nice and dark, which is a good sign for me. So, got my whiskey nose gun over here. We're going to throw that sample right in there, guys, so I can't see what it is. Poured it right up into my Mr. Big Vic's BS Glen. I love this Glen. The etching on that is like beautiful. But look at that color, though, guys. And it actually looks like it kind of has like the fatty acids or so just like floating around. Makes me think that it's some type of maybe barrel proof that's non-chill filtered. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. Yeah, you can kind of see it floating around a little bit. Yeah, you can see it in there. Let's give it a good spin and we'll dive right in. Cheers. Ooh, well, that smells nice. So right on the initial nose, I'm thinking bourbon. This shouldn't be any type of Scotch, rum, or American single malt. Heavy sweetness, not corn forward, but makes me lean more towards that bourbon side of things versus a rye. Seems like it got some nice age to it too. Decent oak coming through. Like charred vibe. Yeah, just like a charred oaky barrel. Like, you know, that sounds normal, right? Every bourbon barrel is going to be charred or charred, yeah, not toasted. But that's coming across this nose a little more than like just a regular conventional bourbon for me. Yeah, it definitely seems like it has some age on there. Nice barrel influence. Doesn't come across finished on the nose. Oh, man. Cheers, guys. My first drink of the day, too. So let's see how this goes. No control pours, so see if I can maybe pull the proof off it. A little different on the palate than what comes across on the nose. And when I say that, I mean like it had a bit of age on the nose, like a nice oak influence. And that doesn't really carry over to the palate. It almost comes across a little young on the palate, slightly drying, nice proof. I don't know if it's barrel proof, but I would think this is definitely over 100 proof. It drank a little spicy. Granted, I haven't had any controlled pours or pour in general today. So I'm just diving in cold turkey on this one, guys. Another sip. Second sip got a bit sweeter. Definitely got some vanilla in there. A little spice just that lingers on that front to back of the palate. Not so much on the mid, but right at the back of my tongue. I got like a nice spice that just sits there. It's a little bitter though, slightly bitter. You get some sweetness up front, but transitions rather quickly into like a slight just bitter note on the back of the palate. But that finish is long. Like even though there's not crazy amounts of flavor, it's just sitting there. And I can continue to taste like a little bit of that spice and some of that bitterness. Not a bad whiskey at all. Had some higher hopes off the nose because the oak influence was really really nice. But yeah, I've locked it on bourbon. I would be really really surprised if this is a rye. It doesn't come across as a rye to me on the nose or the palate, but it doesn't really taste super familiar either. Granted, it probably shouldn't, right? That's why I have these samples because there are things that I really haven't had. But some of the samples in this box, like I spoke of probably some videos ago, are 3 years old. So within that time, you know what I mean? I may have purchased a bottle of what was in there. But for the most part, I'm hoping a lot of the stuff in here is still stuff I haven't had. You know, it keeps it interesting, keeps me on my toes, and it's tougher to guess. One more sip, guys, then I'll give my final specs to what I think it may or may not be. What's funny, I don't know if the spice I'm getting is rye. Like, it comes across bourbon, but that tingling on the front and back of the palate I get off of rye. But this doesn't really taste like rye. Makes me think it is, but just for the sensation that I'm getting on my tongue, that's usually, like I said, on a rye versus a bourbon. And it's not too proofy, but there's a lot of spice, which makes me think rye versus a high proof bourbon. This one's interesting. I may flip and just say rye, just for those factors, at maybe like a 115 proof, maybe. Hmm. This is an interesting pour. It's actually getting better the longer it sits, and the more sips that I take. Oh man, it's confusing now. I'm gonna lean towards a rye at say 100 and let's go 114 proof. I'm not sure if it's age stated, but if I had to guess on the nose, I would have thought this was like 10 plus. But on the palate, it drinks a little younger. So I'm going to say maybe about 7 years. 7 years we're going to go with. So 7 year rye doesn't come across as like 95.5 MGP rye to me. So if it is a rye, I'm thinking somewhere in Kentucky. Yeah, so Kentucky rye, 7 years, 114 proof. Good whiskey. I wouldn't mind owning this whiskey. Like I said, it just lacks a little bit on the mid palate and that slight like drying and bitterness, which could be some age too. I'm not sure. But we're about to find out, guys. I know you guys already know what it is. Hopefully it showed up on camera, but it's time for me to take a peek and see what it is. So, what I was drinking was a Peerless single barrel. It doesn't say if it's a rye or not, but this doesn't come across as a bourbon to me. And I have the high rye bourbon from them, and this doesn't taste like the bourbon profile from Peerless. It's 108 proof, so I said 114. Peerless, I believe, is usually about 5 to 6 years old. I'm pretty sure I know when I was down there, they had some stuff right around that age. So I was pretty close on age. If this was age stated, being it's a single barrel, it may have been, but I guess I might have been maybe a year or so off. Close on proof, within 6 on proof. I'm pretty certain this is a rye. We're just gonna go with a wash in that because it doesn't say rye or bourbon. But this does not remind me of any of the Peerless bourbons that I have. But we're not going to take any points on that. So I think I did pretty well, guys. The color on this is just crazy. And that age, and Peerless is barrel proof. So like you do see like the little floaties from it being, I don't think they non-chill or they chill filter. I do not think they do. But from the looks of it, I doubt it. But this is not bad. Not bad at all. One more sip. Yeah, that's just an overall good whiskey. Nothing crazy good about it, but it's definitely drinkable. I wouldn't mind pouring it again, or even, like I said, owning it on my bar here. Not bad, not bad. So whoever sent it to me, if you know your handwriting, thank you. I know the light's not picking it up too much right here, but Peerless single barrel, 108 proof. I know it's not Jeffrey Wack's signature because I can actually read this. So whoever it is, thank you for the sample. Thank you guys for sticking with me. And stay tuned. You know, Wednesdays live, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be starting at our Whiskey Friends tournament, and that's going to be a blast. Should be probably starting next week, if not the week after that for sure, guys. So stay tuned. Wednesdays, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. We haven't missed one in over a year. You know, so good times ahead. Thank you for sticking with me here. We're going to cut this off. Cheers, guys.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends.